Listen, Super Cleo, I don't mean to pry into Twi's business or nothing, Applejack said, but it's mad funny that she's got a girlfriend around nowhere. The fine right face of, what? Well, I, for one, think it's lovely, Verity said. I personally always suspected that Her Highness has had plans, as it were, for us. So I suspect it would make sense to pair the most eligible bachelor in all of Ecclesia with a major prince. But I would hope the princess would find a more suitable match after that debacle with that cur, Blue Blood. What? The vine said again. I would hope that she would find somebody in Master Pinky's exuberant nature. Personally, I don't think that Fluttershy and Rainbow will need paramours of their own, given that the latter has her eye on a dashing young Wonderbolt, Soren I believe his name is. And our dear lovely Fluttershy. Don't you start! Rarity, I don't know why you think Shy Discord are an item, the farm heir and legend bringer said. Oh, I'd better find a way to explain this one. Not mending, my dear Applejack. And of course, we won't forget you. Some young, strapping young stallion who can keep up with you on this farm. Of course, she teased. Finding one that isn't an apple already is going to be a challenge, is it not? The stallion present looked at the two mares. What are you two talking about? Oh, please. You don't have to hide it from me, my good sir. It's obvious. Countess Stormbreaker has to suddenly be recalled to Canterlot on extended business to be replaced by a handsome young lieutenant, who is also a major prince. And after our dearest Twilight is suffering the twin arrows of pain and frustration, both for the reconstruction of our town and the extended duties she must take care of because the Princess Celestia is on extended convalescence. It is clear that our dear Princess Nina feels that Twilight must step her duties, as it were, and I suppose that means the royal issue. His eyes wide. What? She patted him on the shoulder. Well, isn't obvious? Not many stallions in Ponyville, and the few that are, for the most part, either taken or too young to think of such things. Ergo, Nina would have to import a fine, strapping young male as yourself. Rarity gave him a dazzling smile. Please don't take this the wrong way, but if things do not work out between you and Twilight, I myself am available. Rarity, did you just try to steal Twilight's cold friend? Applejack asked her. Rarity suddenly froze. That did come out wrong, didn't it? I apologize, good sir. Twilight is like a sister to me, and I assure you I would never do such a heinous thing to her. The fine face looked like me. He has no pony in particular. Hey, Div! The unicorn looked at the cobalt blow bat pony mare, soared down to him. Good thing I ran into you. Oh, hello, Stormbreaker, Verity said to the bat pony. How was Canterlot? Stormbreaker shrugged. Yeah, it is what it is, you know. Besides, I prefer being stuck at Ponyville anyway. Smell of apples in the air is something you don't get out of your system. Applejack grinned. You sure you're not an apple, Stormy? Hey, Stormy, Divine said to Stormbreaker. You're back earlier than expected. Thought you wouldn't be back for at least another week. Well, things change, she told him. You got a moment? Sir, I'm just being interrogated by Friday's courtiers, is all, he drawled. She laughed. Ready, Div here is a dang anybody, okay? He's here on temporary assignment because I had to head back to Canada on personal business. I thought you said they were going to settle to Lieutenant Stormwell. Apparently she got married last month, and she's on a honeymoon right now. Fortunately, Div here was ready to cover for me. She turned to him. Apparently, you're going to have to cover a little longer, like permanently. Permanently? He asked. Yep, look, my mom is really sick, but she doesn't want to stay in the hospital up in Caroline anymore. Doctor said that what she has isn't going to kill her or anything, but she's going to need some more time convalescing. So I spoke to the vice captain, and he got me a deal. Besides, because of all that shit that happened with the T-Rex thing, the guards got orders to expand its garrisons in places that the Army or Navy aren't located. And one of those is a new garrison located just outside my mom's hometown. What's this? Small little seaside town in the west known as Nightshade. Town's known for its pecan farms, but the place makes Ponyville look like Manhattan in size. Anyway, I came back to clear out my room in the castle, give my new orders to the princess, and then debrief you. Until they get a new commander for the guard division here, you're it. What? You'll seem awful fond of that order, Lieutenant. Applejack nodded. He's been saying that all day, she explained to Stormraider. She patted on the back with her wing. You'll be fine, Div. Besides, didn't you tell me once you had the hots to try? She's got a cute flank. Aha! I knew it! What did I say that? He asked, glaring at Stormbreaker. In reply to Backbone grin, hey, not my fault you talked too much when you had too much cider to drink. Stormbreaker looked at Rarity. Well, I remember this one time you were telling Stampede you wanted to hook up with that researcher out in West Carolina. What was her name? Moon Prancer? Sundance or something like that? Because he looked like twine and you really liked her plot. The fine covered Stormbreaker's mouth. I think we need to go over the classified tokens so you could get out of here in time. We really shouldn't keep you waiting here at all. You have to get your mom out of the night stage, right? Let the yard you mayor sort of embarrassment. Ladies, I love to keep talking, but the good captain and I have business to discuss, so let's see you later. With that, he dragged the mayor off. The two mayors watched for the longest time as the two officers receded to the distance. So, you think Lou or Cadence is trying to fix him up? Elzak asked. I would help his Cadence, Verity said. No offense meant to idea for Nuna, but I would think that Cadence has a better idea of what we're all looking for in science than Nuna does. Meanwhile, the minute Sunset pulled up the Secret Corner Cafe, Secret knew she had no idea what she was going to tell the Cakes, but her mind was made up. Guardian needed the job far more than she did. Even though she felt she would be disappointing the Cakes, she knew she had to do it. The guilt of her own fortune gnawed at her. She wasn't sure what to say. As she rounded the corner to head into the parking lot, she noticed the presence of news vans. A lot of news vans. Wondering what was up, she opted to go around the block and park over by the print shop. She could walk over, and hopefully the extra time would help her compose what she said. She felt lips on hers. Banking up, she saw Pinky standing there, a smile on her face. Evening! She said, oh, hi, Pinky Eye. Pinky snuggled up closer to Sunset and giggled. I miss you, you know that. I haven't seen you in a whole couple of days. Pinky, it's just been 2 days, okay? Yes! I don't lost say somewhere that as my girlfriend, we're supposed to spend a lot of time together giggling, cuddling, and making out. Especially that last part, until the initial passion wears off. Then we could be more like a normal couple. Hey, that's exactly how Luz and Amity act. Although, I don't think those two stopped cuddling. Nor Soletta and Minetto, for that matter. Pinky, Arya's words from the other day suddenly hit Sunset like a hammer. You have a girlfriend now, whether you want one or not. Pinky, we're not. I know, it's gonna be awkward to tell my aunt and uncle since they don't even know I'm bi, she sighed. Well, look, aside from that, I caught up with you. You really don't want to be here right now. Those news fans are looking for you. I kind of think you want to avoid it right now. She grinned. Let's go back to my place to make out. That's to take some stress off of you and me, right? Pinky went over to Sunset's car. Or maybe we could go somewhere for lunch. I hear the cafe at the ECMAH has a great ticket panini. Pinky, listen to me. Just because we kiss. You kiss? Sunset slowly froze at those words, realizing she said them out loud. She turned to find Rose standing there, a shocked look on her face. Rose, it's not like that. Sunset began to explain, realizing she was well over her head, sinking fast. Oh yeah, Pinky said casually, sliding her hand around Sunset's waist. Baby and I are a couple. Declare our love under moonlit skies of la la and everything. Too bad it's so sad for others, huh? Sunny, Rose said, a betrayed look over her face. How could you? Sunset looked at her, wondering what she was going to say to get out of this one. And at one point, their life turned into the demented harem anime. Around chapter 1. Rose, listen to me. There's nothing going on. Rose didn't let her explain. Instead, immediately locking lips with Sunset. I bet she can't make you feel like a woman like I can, Rose said breathlessly. Pinky narrowed her eyes. Rose, get your hands off my girl, or I'll put my hands on you, and the next hit you feel like I'll be a surgeon! Rose got her back. I saw her first. I know I said second grade, you hussy. Oh, you really don't want to piss me off, you bitch! Pinky snarled back. Girls! Sunset pled. In case both of you forgot, those news fans are looking for me, and your little argument might just get them to look around the corner. At that, the two immediately stopped. Tris! Pinky quietly offered. You love you bits, but I won't let risk my girl to the wolves. She's not your girl yet. Rose insisted. I care too much about Sunny to let that happen. Okay, in that case, let's head back to my place and we can... Pinky's phone really went off, and Pinky answered it. A quick phone call happened as he sighed. Great, just great. So he looked at sunset with sad eyes. Look, sweetie, I hate to do this, but Auntie Cup needs me to head home to watch the twins while she heads back to the cafe to play tennis control. And given how close our house is to here, might not be a good idea to head to my place. Rose squeezed. So I get to take you on a date, she said, wrapping her arms around Sunset's arm. Come on, let's go. She reached out and squeezed Sunset's butt. Pinky blocked that. Keep your hands to yourself! I trust my girl, but I don't trust you. She looked at Sunset apologetically and kissed her. Sorry, babe, but duty calls. Keep in mind I'm thinking of you, okay? Okay. Sunset stammered, not sure what to say. Come on, Rose, let's head to the museum. Oh, I love the museum, especially Echo Pop. Have you been there? No, I haven't. Then let's go, she said. Then turned to Pinky and Callie call. Don't worry, I'll make sure her lips stay nice and warm. Don't make me regret letting you breathe, Rose, Pinky said in a dark tone that surprised Sunset. What the hell have I gotten myself into? Pinky asked herself. Sunset asked herself as she got back into the car. This is beautiful, Bonnie, Twilight Bonbon. Honestly, I'm impressed. Yeah, my babe works wonders, doesn't she? Lyra said, looking wistfully at a tray of chocolate nonpareils that had yet to leave the kitchen and head for the storefront. You can have one, Bonbon said without looking at Lyra. Did I mention she's psychic too? Lyra said, gleefully taking more than one. You are so lucky my parents absolutely adore you, Bonbon said with a laugh. I always wondered how that works, Sana said. I mean, aren't your older brother and sister already dating or something? Oh yeah, Arbor and Burgundy got engaged back in November, Lyra told him. And your parents are okay with you two dating as well? A sudden silence came over too. Sanaa looked down mildly. Sarah picked it up instantly. They don't know, do they? To their surprise, Lyra turned away. Bonbon answered, my parents love her deeply. Love us dearly. They're okay with us seeing each other. But Lyra's parents, let's just say, they think we're good friends, so leave it at that, okay? How bad? Bad enough that my parents will likely put into conversion therapy bad enough my parents will likely put me in conversion therapy, they found out. Lyra told them. One time we stayed out late, and I lied and told him I went out with a guy. And my mom was thrilled because she was genuinely afraid I might be a sobrite. Then she told me if I got pregnant by my boyfriend, she would be disappointed in me. Well, at least it's better than being a dyke, Lyra stressed Claire. I swear I'm here for that! Sweetie, Bonbon said, I'll stand with you all the way, as will my family. You know Trixie and hers will too. I know, she sighed. Now just gotta hold out until we're adults, and then I can blow that popsicle stand for good. The two held one another, and Twilight, looking at them, couldn't help but feel anger for her friends. We can come back later if you need to start something out, Bonbon offered. It's okay, we deal, Lyra insisted. Besides, this is about Sunny's big moment, and I'm not gonna let my problems with my parents ruin that. Well, I told you, we should be ready in time for a reception at your place. Surprised you didn't have Sunset work for it. Piggy's got some other surprises planned for Sunny, I'm sure, Twilight told her. Ones that could be shared in public, hopefully. I sure as hell hope so. The Equestria County Pop Art Museum, better known as the Eco Pop, was located in Eastwick neighborhood of Camelot, nestled in part of the older section of the district. The modernist building stood out amongst the older brick facades like a sore thumb. It was neon blue ribbon wrapping around the aluminum-clad building and practically screaming for attention. The outdoor displays did as well, including the life-size Robotech Mecha replica that was built as part of the Northern California Museum of Science and Technology. I tried to do these live reads to get away from my Super Robot Wars life! The whole thing was garish, bright, and in your face like no tomorrow. And there Sunset was, sitting in the cafe, munching on a kale salad, remembering that she hated kale. But this was one of those neo-fusion places where artistic creativity meant more than actual food. So, Sunny, please be honest with me, Rose began. Are you and Pinky an item? Sunset sighed. No, Rose, we're not an item, and I'm not seeing anyone. But you said you kissed her. I did, but it was a mistake. I got caught up in the heat of the moment. Have you had any situations like that? Rose nodded. I have, and it's nothing I won't repeat. She gave a soft girl smile then and said, Does that mean? Rose, I'm straight. I'm serious when I said that I kissed Pinky in the heat of the moment. I could have just as easily done it if I was Flash or anyone else. A thought came over her mind. Besides, I'm rather disappointed in you. Even if I'm not dating Pinky, I'm surprised you're going after me. What would Barry think? That look got back Sunset from Rose was a shock. Who? Boysenberry. You your girlfriend? Sunny, you're the first girl I ever found anything for. And I had no idea who Boysenberry is. Does he go to our school or county or... Sunset's eyes widen. She goes to Central Junior High. Or, well, she did. She's supposed to be an incoming freshman this year. Sonny, why on earth would I date an 8th grader? Sure, I pound around with gift wrap from time to time, but I babysat her for years, so she kind of looks at me like a big sister. But dating? Rose shook her head and took a bite of her tofu burger. Besides, you know I was dating Ward before we broke up. Ford passed? Barry's older brother? Sonny, Ward's an only child. Are you sure you're not confusing me with someone else? Maybe Roseluck? Though as I recall, he has a boyfriend she's going out with right now. A serious look on Rose's face set off alarms at Sunset's mind. Rose, please tell me you're joking. Sonny, I'm dead serious. Look, it hasn't been easy coming to terms with my feelings about you. Especially it doesn't help that it cost me my relationship with Ward. But we've known each other since 2nd grade. It feels weird wanting to play house with someone you used to do so. But in a entirely different way, but... Rose, this is going to come as a shock to you, but we didn't meet until 8th grade. But we went to school together when we were kids. I remember you distinctly. No, you remember my twin sister. Sunset then went to explain the truth, though she felt horrible about lying to Rose. Still, Rose could not be told the real truth. But at least he deserved to know what happened to the sad little girl she once played with as a child. When Sunset was done, Rose sat back, completely dazed by the collector's tale. No, so you really aren't the Sunset Shim I grew up with? No, that would be Shimmy. We both have the same names, though I suspect that was because Miss Faustus came out with coincidentally. Though if you want, I could arrange for you two to meet. She does remember you fondly. I think I like that. Wow, you really a French princess? I don't know if I go that far, since the Imperial family is in pretense, not ruling, but yes. For all intents and purposes, I'm a princess. I'm in love with a princess, Rose said with tone wonder, which in turn set off more alarm bells for Sunset. Rose? Sunset, please go without me. Rose asked. I'll lay it on the table. I fell for you hard. I want to get to know you. Not just the girl I'm friends with, but a girl I respect and admire and have feelings for. She was seriously, and was all Sunset could not do to panic. Rose, Don't worry. I'm not going to pressure you like Pinky. I suspect that Hussy forced you into going out with her. But it's because your friendship would be at stake. I refuse to do that to someone I care about. Seeing leaned over, gave Sunny a kiss on the cheek. And just to show you what I mean when I say, I'm going to get going now. You think about what I said, Sunny, because I meant every word of it. And I still do want to meet your sister. It just rekindle our friendship. Rose giggled girlishly. Who knows? Maybe someday she might be my sister-in-law. She giggled. Give me what takes this wink to top it off as she laughed. Sunset watched as Rose walked out towards the subway. After that, she stared at her kale salad, and her reservoir was now unappealing. 2 girls. I had 2 girls competing for my affection. I don't want either. Hell, I don't want any of them. Still, the thing that nagged her the most. Reaching for her phone, she made a quick call. Hey, Sunset. Wasn't expecting a call from you. Hey, yourself. You got time to meet? I have some questions I need to ask you. Yeah, sure. You had lunch or anything? I'm about to take my lunch break at 30, and we can meet then if it's cool with you. Sunset pushed aside the half-eaten bowl of kale. Yeah, sure. You still working at the same place? Yeah, kind of. See you in 30 then. Beep! Simmy, are you okay? Simmer looked down her phone. There was something distinct about the absent look on her face. Yes and no, I guess. Is that obvious? Twice smiled. I know my sister. She has that same look on her face that you do when she's like that. Simmer gave her a smile. I guess that's normal then. Given that we're both the same person. You want to talk about it? Yeah. I actually had a lot of fun here. A lot. And if I'm honest, I'm a bit jealous. It's this past week I've gotten to know Sunny. Really gotten to know her, and, well, I wish we were sisters for real. But you two are, aren't you? Yes. Well, it goes all the way when I head back to France on Sunday. Sarah gave a wistful smile. It's been nice. And although it's this new timeline, I'm going to be an older sibling to Sophia's kids. I haven't actually met them yet, because I've been spending the summer with their mother. She sighed. Part of me wishes I could stay here, but I have my friends, my life, and yet... Sonata nodded. I understand. I personally being lost without my sisters. I met both the ones I was born with and the ones I have now. I'm not really sure I would make it as an only child, so I totally get what you mean. She looked at Sunset's twin and said, but here's the thing you're forgetting, Sunny. Sunny's, well, Sunny. You ever need her, all you have to do is call, she'll probably literally be there. Or you ever need to come, she'll bring you by as well. Twilight nodded. Yeah, it's clear you adore her. She cares about you as well. It doesn't matter that you weren't born sisters. You two are sisters. And trust me, Sunny takes sisterhood very seriously. Sooner bless, thanks, guys. Cena picked up the menu. So I guess I should just enjoy the time we have left then, right? So unless it's on me, it is. Any idea what we want? Twilight Sparkle? Sonata Dusk? The two looked up to see an older girl approaching them. As they did, they smiled. Theo, it's good to see you! The two got up from their seats and hugged Phoenix Temple, the now graduated senior from Zachary, and currently a college student. The two quickly introduced Zoomer to Phoenix, as he was invited to join them at lunch, talking briefly about both sides and how they knew each other. So, she's a twin sister of your adopted sister, Twilight. Sounds like you've had a fun years. Wish I could say the same. Is everything okay for you? Sonata asked. The older girl shook her head. So, yeah. That year of study I did overseas in Beijing was great, and I learned a lot about the foods on Green Canary. Did you know that Chinese mythology once believed to be baby phoenixes? Obviously that's not true, but somehow the myth has persisted, and so the bird is considered a treasure of their nation. Twilight, Shimmer, and Sonata all thought about Raspberry's pet Phoenix, and the fact that he looked like a green canary, and somehow the world had made that odd connection, which is why Heliodor had become a canary instead of something else. Anyway, I came back and was ready to start working on my real passion, looking at my teaching degree. She grinned. Did you know that as part of that, Mrs. Lemonade got me a part-time assistant teaching at Zachary? We're going to call you Miss Temple now? Sonata asked. Only during school hours anyway. I'm glad I ran into you. I heard that you and Tavi were given diva status. And I always knew they were going to get it. Well, Umi did as well. But she wanted to sleep with Tavi, so let's not get into that, Phoenix said with a giggle. Anyway, now that you're divas, I need a favor from you too. Well, of course, Twilight told her. What can we do for you? Well, to be honest, it's not for me, but for my cousin. I don't want to get into what happened, but her parents recently passed away. She's living with my grandparents right now. Technically, she's living with me in the penthouse at our grandparents' hotel, but you get the point. Anyway, they decided to send her to Zachary, so she'll be incoming as a freshman. But obviously she's new in town, so she doesn't know anyone but me. And since I'll be on faculty staff half the time and not there the rest, only so much interaction I can have during her school hours. If you keep an eye on her for me and introduce her to some students, that might do her a world of good. I'd really be appreciative. I'll see what we could do. When can we meet her? I'll introduce you the first day of school. Would that work? Twilight nodded. Works for me, Theo. Thanks, Twilight. You have no idea how much it means to me. Ruby could usually your friend right now. As a diva, I'd be proud of service, Twilight said solemnly. And you know on that one, you bet my sisters and I will happily back Twilight's play, Sonata said. We owe you one for sticking up for our freshman year. We always pay our debts. Welcome to Hinonori Sushi. A voice called out. Sunset walked to the place she was walking. As she walked in, she was hit with the various seafood scents of the usual shop. Wasn't it clean? There's something about the place that made her feel at home for some reason. Likely the name. Website once pointed out that the name of the restaurant in English was Sunset Sushi. Either way, as much as she loved coming here, she was glad she worked for Sugar Cube Corner Cafe. Because if she ever worked at a place like this, she'd probably get fat eating all the sushi. As she sat down a few seconds later, green tea and sushi boat was placed in front of her. She looked up to see Ford pass. Carolina's high star quarterback, wearing the Hanoi sushi uniform, and setting an identical boat and Coke down in front of her. I hope you don't mind, he said to her as she sat down. I figured I'd make it easy. It's on me, really. Thanks, Warren, Sunset told him. I guess I should wonder how you have my phone number. He began. I mean, at first I thought you got it from Flash, given that he and I used to be friends, but then... He shook his head. Look, it's not important. It's just funny, though, you know? What's that? The look on his face was sad. I love Rose. I mean, we've known each other for years. I've been dating since freshman year. Then I found out she was bi. I said, look, I said some stupid things that cost me my relationship with her. Yes, sir, I'm starting the football team and shit. I probably could get any girl I wanted. But I had the girl I wanted. Now here I am, talking to the girl I lost her to. He chuckled. But that didn't sound like a happy one. I guess that makes you a better man than me, no offense. None taken, Sunset assured him. What did you tell her? I was angry and jealous. I told her maybe if she wanted you that much, now I could get my hands on the vibe and get both of you so we could... He smiled the sun like a rays in her eyes. He waved his hands in placation. Look, Sunset, I never meant that. I broke up my friendship with Flash because I was disgusted by what he did to all those girls, okay? You know I knew him for years. But after I found out what he was really like, I dumped his ass to the curb. Sunset saw the genuine look on his face and relented. She felt a brief flash of an info dump hit her. Then suddenly she recalled that in this timeline, he and Flash had known each other for the longest time. Although in the timeline she once remembered, he never actually crossed paths. Sunset took a deep breath and said, Look, I believe you, it's just... Sunset then explained what Flash had done to Twilight, as well as what he did to Blossom Wharf. Once he was done, the look on Forrest's face was one that convinced Sunset he was genuine in his attitude. Fuck. I wish I'd known that. I'm gonna kick his ass for that, Sunset. I'm sorry. He sighed and took a drink of his Coke, then continued. Anyway, I was stupid, okay? I love Rose. And us being broken up all this time, I haven't seen anyone else because I don't want anyone else. Yeah, like I said, I probably could bet some hot cheerleader like Turnabout or even your friend Pinky, but I love Rose for who she is. Gentle and sweet, and I don't care that she likes you. I want her back, but I guess you two are dating now? No, I'm straight, so I can assure you I'm not dating her. Although you consider how you talk to her. She is a friend of mine regardless, Warren. If you truly love her, then you need to talk to her directly. Sunset diplomatically told out that she would be very appreciative if he did, if only to get one odd suitor off her back. Ford looked at her. Really? That takes a little off of my mind, Sunset. Thanks. No problem. But Warren, I really didn't come here to ask you about Rose. When he looked at her oddly, he said, I came to ask you about your kid's sister? The look on his face was like confusion. I don't have a sister, Sunset. I'm only child. Thought you had a sister by the name of Boysenberry. No, not at all. Merely, I have a cousin named Blackberry Capote, but she lives down in Texas, way older than me. Why do you ask? Sunset suddenly had an idea, one that didn't come to her earlier. She raced to her purse, and within cast a spell, opening a slight portal to the bedroom. She then cast a second spell over to a picture that she had received a long time ago, one of Rose and Boysenberry from the old timeline. Somehow the picture had survived, and at the time, Sunset hadn't thought much of it, other than surprised she had created a happy couple. But now, does this look familiar? She asked Ford as he handed him a photo. I looked at the picture. No, unless... He looked at her oddly. Are you suggesting Rose cheated on me? I mean, this girl looks a bit young, and I know Rose. She wouldn't cheat on me, Sunset. I know she wouldn't. No, she's... Sunset felt the rising panic she could cause into her, but she kept calm. No, I thought that the girl was your sister. At least that's what Rose told me. And I know Rose wouldn't cheat on you. Especially since that's her girlfriend. I know that because I fixed them up together. He handed the picture back to him. Look, like I said, I'm an only child. It'd be nice to have a sibling, I guess. But I don't know. Sunset suddenly felt she had been slapped. Although she kept the look off her face. Taking her tea in her hands, she forced her to stop shaking. She gave Ford a smile and continued to talk to him about some other things. Some of which were about Rose, a girl he hated for dating his sister, and was now in love with, given he dated her. The fact that he'd been so dismissive of the picture meant there were more questions than answers. By the end, only one answer was clear. Boysenberry, a sweet young girl, was dead. Worse, she never existed. It was Sunset's fault. Sunset finished up her lunch with Ford, barely able to face the brother of the girl who had never existed, promising she would talk to Rose on his behalf. Much to his clear relief. She also assured him she could call him if he ever needed further advice. Finally, he had to head back to work and saw her off. She managed to make it to her car before breaking down in tears, unable to take it. So many girls had died because of Divine Right, and none of that was her fault, she knew. But Boysenberry had been a friend, and now she was gone. And that blood was on Sunset's hand, because Sunset needed to be the safe and innocent girl had become a sacrifice. Sunset chose to teleport both herself and car home, unable to drive, much to the shock of the guy getting into the car next to hers. He took a look at where car had been a second ago, then his car, the back of the empty parking space. Opted to get back in his car and walked down block towards the bar. He's going to need a few stiff drinks. Meanwhile, Twilight clicked on the smartphone she'd been given by Sunset as a gift. Right now, the Alcorn Princess was in her human form as she stood before the portal. It let her be closer to her friends on the other side of the temporarily destroyed hole. Things in the Equestria were reaching a crisis point. There had been another attack by T-Rex fanatics, destroying several new buildings. It amazed her that there were so many wrong-headed beings out there that would follow that mad centaur and his plans. What mixed in amongst the lifeless columns were other beings. Kitsune, pandas, jaguars, goats, minotaurs, and even the occasional pony. A discussion with Discord had her worried, because it had him concerned. He wasn't sure how they came that way. He said it wasn't chaos at work, and he had to feel desperation behind it. As he understood that with Celestia in extended convalescence, and a world already in deepest where it should be like fall, he sometimes felt that the Princess of the Sun had been in the world. And to a degree she had, though Twilight would never hear that voice that personally. She knew why, though. Celestia feared her daughter was dead. Twilight refused to believe it, though. She already lost friends to the madness. She wouldn't lose another. And that's why she sat in front of the portal in human form, looking at Platinum's mirror, hoping for something, anything that would give her access to Earth once more. She wanted to see her friends. She wanted to meet her counterpart. She wanted to feel like something was going right for once. Attempt 7,635. We'll be attempting to send a basket of Pinky's cupcakes with a note for Sunny. She looked at the basket, filled to the brim with cupcakes. Personal note. I want to see my friends again. Sunny, I know you can't hear this, but please be there. I don't know how Celestia will fare if you are truly dead. I don't know how any of us will. But please, I know this much. You're one of my best friends, and I miss you. Please, Your Majesty, she thought to Faust. If you're merciful, we're all suffering here. Your daughter is most certainly. She needs her own daughter, your grandfoal. For the sake of the world, we need Sunny back. Twilight went over and set the cupcake in front of Platinum's mirror, and cast the complex spells he had been working on in order to get it to operate. Runes that both she and Luna had placed in the mirror glowed in the colors of both Twilight and Luna's own magic hues. Small magical circles began to flicker across the silvery surface, and something began to happen. Twilight barely had time to dodge their unfamiliar form before the jet of unrestrained raw magic unleashed itself in the mirror, incinerating the cupcakes. Then the portal went still once more. Twilight looked at the carbon-scored spot where the cupcakes had been, and where her failure once again was singed by ass. She screamed in frustration and broke down crying, unable to feel like she'd done anything to be of use to anyone. What good am I as a princess in Alcorn if I can't see the ponies I love? I can't help my friends. The human girl sat there, crying alone in the laboratory, with only a reflection in the mirror as witness. Meanwhile, Experiment 2206, failure. Sunset said to her headset where her tablet recorded. The flames had died down significantly, but the dragonfire candle still pumping out raw, interdimensional magic. I don't know what happened to the letter I sent as a test. She sighed and rubbed the bridge of her nose, feeling a headache coming on. I can't... She ripped out the headset and threw it against the wall, screaming in frustration, then slumped in her chair. Sunny? She looked up and saw Knight knocking on the protector plexiglass, carrying a plate. Sunset waved her hand and the portal opened up, allowing him entry. Well, you didn't come up for dinner. I thought you might want some. Sunset looked at the clock on her tablet. Sorry, Dad. Working on trying to send Raz back home still. She sighed. Nothing is working. I don't want to give up because I can't. I was expecting you to. He says he set the plate down in front of his daughter. But I don't want you to wear yourself out. You're only human after all. Well, in a manner of speaking. No, Dad. I'm more than that now. No, you're not. I'm not going to get into theological arguments with you. I'm a scientist and a Catholic, and you can already see my mind is split between those two realms without having to figure out the ramifications of an immensely powerful alien daughter. But that's the rub, Sonny. You're my daughter. I would hope that you're going to always need your mother and I, no matter what. Despite her frustration, Sunset gave a bland smile. Always, Dad, she said, the love clear in her voice. So can I convince you to at least eat if you're going to be down here much longer? Yeah, I guess I should have gone out to eat with everyone else. But I needed time alone to blow off some steam. She sighed. I guess I'll go up and see what the girls are doing. You don't have to worry about that. Knight told her. Luna came over earlier and took the girls out to pizza and the movies. Officially, I think she took them out so they wouldn't have to deal with the news fans. Are they still there? Knight nodded. It's already starting to hit English language news, sweetheart. Eunice Lair will have to make some sort of statement tomorrow, sure. Not looking forward to that, Sunset sighed. I know. But anyway, the other reason Luna was here, I suspect, because she's already thinking ahead what will happen if you can't get Raz back. You know that Luna offered her a chance to live with her, right? Oh, that would be wild, Sunset laughed. For what you and Mom say, Miss Luna's nothing like how she is at school. As I'm sure you well know, sometimes people are different in one location than they are in others. The face we show one group might not be the same we show others. Might be an old friend of family, but because you're a student, she has to be different at school in order to not show favoritism. I know. She went to the plate, then at the office. You know what? I need a break. I'm going to come upstairs and eat, then unwind. She laughed. I'm just a girl, after all. Can't let my teenage years slip by, after all. She blessed. Well, second time, anyway. With that, she teleported her and her father upstairs to the house. A second later, in a secure off area, the statue had once been in front of Carolina High School, flickered with various energies. A second later, a basket of cupcakes popped out of the magical portal, which quickly disappeared. A second later, dragonfire candles flared to life, and the flames lit the ends of Sunset's tablet, vaporizing in an instant and turning into green sparks of nothingness. Oh, come on! Thanks for taking us to the movies, Raspberry said to Luna as the two sat by the fountain, eating ice cream. Luna asked the other girls to get into space as the two needed to talk. Seeing basically oversized television and new experience, that's for sure. Yes, Sunset said they didn't have movies in Equestria, Luna commented. Right! Well, they do, but it's an excessive form of entertainment. Nothing like what you guys have here, that's for sure. I see. Roz, I know we haven't discussed it much, but Raspberry was quiet for the longest time as he finished off her cone. If I give up going home, I give up being me. Please don't take offense when I say this, but I don't like this world. I don't fit in, and I don't think I ever will. I feel uncomfortable being human, and I can't see why Sunny is so comfortable with it. Maybe it's because that's her destiny is the Alicorn of Earth, but it's not mine, and I don't like it. I know, but if you can't get home, I just felt I had to tell you. All of you, of all people, understand that I suspect. Luna nodded, recalling her teenage years when she had that nightmare moon alter ego that let her cope with being an outsider. It's why I offered to take you in, but I do understand. I know it's not going to be easy for you. I just want to go home. Raspberry started crying, and Luna hugged the girl close. I just want to go home. I know, dear, I know. But I promise if you can't, you'll always have a home with me. Watching a distance away, even Adazio felt sorry for Raspberry. I hate that bitch, she admitted to her family. But if I could send her home, I would. No one deserves that. Simmer looked at Adazio with surprise. I think that's the nicest thing you've ever said about her. Yeah, well, I know as well as you that was like being a stranger in a strange land. I was born Canadian, after all. But at least this is my home, and I have a choice. As ephemeral as it is, I have a feeling that as much as she hates being human, Nakut is going to have to deal with it for us until the end of her life. That's absolute torture. And I wouldn't wish torture on my worst enemy. Really, sis? Sanaa asked her. Adagio watched the slow stroked Raspberry's hair, comforted the heart-struck girl. I'm watching what probably is my worst enemy now. And no, I wouldn't want what's out of her. Doodaloo, doodaloo. Sunset stood on an empty grassy field, dark, gray and overcast. Sunny, I don't feel so good. Sunset turned around. There was Boysenberry, this funky girl that compassed his Rose's heart. But she looked sad. Barry, are you okay? She shook her head. She opened her mouth to say something, but words never came out. Instead, she began to disintegrate before Sunset's eyes, and she began to panic. Barry, no! Sunset reached out to her, but her hand passed through to where the girl had been standing a second. The last thing she saw of Boysenberry was the terrified girl's eyes, begging for Sunset to save her, pleading for the outcome of Earth to rescue her. But there was no rescue. And Sunset stood alone in an expansive, endless field. No! She woke up with a start, soaked with sweat and her heart pounding. The last few seconds of her dream jolted into her mind. Sunset started crying. Sis? Sunset looked up and saw Twilight standing at the door. I was just passing by your door and... Instinct took flight at Sunset's mind at that moment. Let them grab her sister, teleport them in an instant. Right now, I should be afraid. Twilight said to herself, very afraid. The teen looked at the endless clouds, knowing that she was at least 40,000 feet above the ground, way in the stratosphere where normally only airliners went. She also knew that she either should be freezing to death at that moment, because she was still in her pajamas, and even at that high up, muggy summer nights couldn't be felt. She also knew instinctively that what she was doing, standing on a cloud over solid ground, was impossible. Scientifically impossible. She looked at the bawling alicorn and knew why it was possible. She walked over and wordlessly hugged her sister, letting Sunset cry her heart out. Twilight held her as much as she could, uncomfortable with this position, given that she was used to embracing her sister as a human. But it didn't stop Twilight from giving her sister succor. Sunset needed her, and that was all that mattered. Twilight, I'm a murderer, Sunset said in an empty tone. Twilight waited patiently for Sunset's explanation, and a few seconds later she guided. Sunny, you couldn't have known. There are too many variables in life. Too many reasons why X isn't Y, or why probability chooses one path instead of another. Give me time and I probably could calculate as far as I could the chances, and it would never be enough. Twilight kissed her sister on the forehead, lips brushing maize-colored fur. The chances are as astronomical as a closeted bookworm ending up with a magical alien creature for a beloved older sister. But she's dead, Twilight. Worse, she never really died, because she never really lived. Rose absolutely loved her, doesn't remember her. Ward, who actually hated Rose, dated Barry, now hated her himself, and is still in love with Rose. Maybe this was the only way to have a happily ever after for some people, Twilight reasoned. Didn't you say that there are universes where we're lovers instead of siblings? It also stands to reason that there are ones where we're just friends, or enemies, or maybe ones where we never met. All those Twilights, living without a sunset in their lives. That's sad, but that's not my problem, the teen scholar said, because I live in the one where I have an older sister I love more than anything. 5 cousins who are de facto my sisters, and I love them too. If only more people who watch these multiverse theory movies would get this! That's the only world I know now. And even though I'll cherish the memories of the timeline we lived in, there are also memories I want to leave behind. Like betraying you and watching you die. I don't ever want to see that again. And this is a life I didn't. Not to that degree. But Barry loved Rose. Maybe there's a timeline. A story, I guess you could say in a sense. Where he did get there happily ever after. Maybe there's a reality where Rose and Barry have their life together, grow old together, and love each other forever. The multiverse is infinite. What you said, even before I knew that already. Besides, for what little I knew of her, I think she would think it's a fair trade. Her life for you. Sunset looked at her sister with shock. How could you say that? Because it was you that stopped Chernobog and defined right. It was you that came back to save your family and friends and be the ultimate sacrifice to do so. Sonny, I know this seems kind of blasé to say, but it doesn't make any less true. You literally saved the Earth. You died doing it. But you had to be there still in order to do what your grandmother expects you to do. Otherwise, people you love die. And one of those people is your friend, Compass Rose, the girl Barry loved more than anything. I suspect if you asked her, she would gladly have given up her life to make sure her love would see tomorrow. Why? Call me crazy, but I get the feeling that in the old timeline, Rose was supposed to survive. I don't know, but I get that feeling, Twilight said to her. Maybe, so she could survive. Barry prayed that Rose would, and that was the key. Despite my scientific background, I do believe in God. Since my mind can't wrap the natural around the pre-natural, but maybe Barry could. Maybe she prayed to keep Rose safe. I don't know. I have no way to answer that. All I do know is that you're safe, and that's what I care about. Call me selfish, but I love my sister. I don't want to see her hurt again. Since Lars Alcorn eyes glared at their sister. After a few moments, he gave Twilight one smile. I'm lucky to have you, you know that? Twilight hugged her again. That's what I should say. Sunset laughed. Come on back with you. Sure, why? Well, this dawned on me. I have yet to test my wings out. She said, flattering the appendices. I can't think of a better way to do that on a midnight flight with my sister. Let's go make some memories, okay? I was saying a whole new world, but I usually say that for romantic moments. Twilight moved to where she was and climbed to Sunset's back, wrapping her arms around the unicorn's neck and hugging her close. Let's go, sis. The two lifted off into the night.